Hi, I'm Wayne Tuttle, and welcome to Chasing Legends. I'm Wayne Tuttle. Welcome back to Chasing Legends. Please leave a comment, hit the notifications bell. Hey, subscribe to our channel. So here we are moving around and kind of getting some other different stuff on Chasing Legends. And this week we're going to stick ourselves in the 90s because the 90s were kind of happening. It was kind of the last of an era. While the wilderness area closed down in the 80s, definitely the 90s was kind of the end of the era, the mountain men, the guys that had lived in the mountains and were kind of living still out there and spending a significant amount of time. And you may have heard a few of these things and recognize some of the names more because it starts becoming a little more current. And a lot of these individuals have been back in here, some of these people, certain people I'll speak of, since the 50s and 60s. So we'll get rolling here so we can just move into things. And as we kind of run through the 90s, and starting early on, not a lot happened in 1990, but William Bates died of heat exhaustion in Lost Dutchman State Park, which again, I pointed out, a lot of these times when people are looking at this stuff or listening or talking about this stuff, they forget Lost Dutchman State Park, First Water Trailhead, Peralta Trailhead. So much stuff happens there, Garden Valley on the general hiking trails, recreationally, and I want that point to come through. However, in December of that year was when Lee Compton was shot. He was shot along Peralta Road. There was an interesting story I was told by someone once that I said, well, they say it was self-inflicted. And he said, nah, he wasn't self-inflicted. And I said, well, how do you know that? And he said, well, I could see the blood where they drug him out the door and drug him out to the street and where they drug him down. And I said, how did you see that? Oh, well, kind of I went there afterwards. And I'm not going to say the person's name, but it was, there's been a lot of theories out there, I believe Lee Compton and a lot of this stuff that was going on in the area. I think at the time there were newspaper articles calling it the Triangle of Death and so forth. And it is mysterious because kind of from the Lost Dutchman store, kind of Ward's Cabin, Burns Ranch, San Mateo Ranch, all these places, there was so much activity and odd stuff on murders, shootings, a lot of things going on in there. And we'll be covering that, and episodes we've been working on cover some of that mysterious stuff that's happened out there. In February of 91, Richard Totman found the Lost Dutchman Mine. I've never heard of Richard Totman. I don't know where he found it. It doesn't say anything, but he just basically came into town and said he'd found it, and that was it. Again, as I pointed out previously, people don't seem to bring out much gold. They never bring out any treasure. They never bring any pictures or video. They never put it on a map or file a claim. So, because it was a wilderness area, maybe he found it and decided just to leave it be for the time being. Howard Wellborn died of a gunshot wound, and he was better known as Trapper. He was pretty well known. He was in his late 70s, I believe he was older. His son, a lot of people knew his son as well. He had a dog. His dog's name, I believe, was Blue, and he's out by where the San Mateo Ranch is, and he was shot there. I've heard a lot of people tell about a lot of insight into this story and what happened. I know other people have been kind of cagey about it. If a guy is found guilty and arrested and he's kind of sent to prison for the murder, we can say it was Bill Bimo. He operated the barber shop at Bimo's Barber Plaza, so you can always look that stuff up. But the Barber Plaza is still there, it just doesn't say Bimo on it anymore. I'm sure he has some family in Apache Junction on it. But I think he came forward and actually admitted to it. And a lot of people said there was some sort of argument about something that Trapper had found, and Bimo felt that he was owed something out of all this. There was a couple other partners with Trapper, and from what I heard from a couple different people, is those guys disappeared afterwards, though they were not implicated in no way assumed to be possibly guilty. They just vanished. So there was a lot kind of going on there. But Bill Bimo went to jail for, I think he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. So in that case and so forth out there. Howard Wellborn, though, always known as Trapper. Everybody talks about Trapper. Then we have, Alan Hovorka, and a lot of people don't know who Alan Hovorka is, but I know who Alan Hovorka is, but he found the Lost Dutchman Mine along Peralta Road. I don't know if Alan said this publicly. It seems kind of an odd thing, not knowing them gentlemen that well. But yeah, this happened in December 31st in 92, and hey, he made the papers. So, I'm not quite sure how to feel about that, because within 7-8 months, James Harris had found the Lost Dutchman Mine in the Superstitions. Now, I don't know if he found the one that Alan had found, or what happened, or if James came along and saw it, or saw Alan, who knows, and not making light of the fact, but I don't think Alan found it. And I don't know, I have to, I hope he's doing well now. I don't think he watches these. Someone will tell him, so he's going to be angry at me. But thanks, Sal. I appreciate that up front right now. But anyways, I don't know why some of these things get into the papers and why these guys say it. At the time, it was big news. And I think it got to be that thing of like, who's the latest guy that found the Lost Dutchman? So at this point in the 90s, we're in 93 and it's been found 3 times already. So we should have been open and shut case, right? Karen Gilchrist died from a fall in Barks Canyon, which is another one of those canyons kind of people get back into. They generally will go up Cardiac or someplace, or work their way up the canyon, and kind of like to do the shortcuts and stuff. And I know there was a few people. Was it George Draculich, also known as George Miller, had some mines down in there. I know, and I don't know if she was anything to do with that stuff, but I'm sure it was recreational at the time. February of 94, Ralph Staxbury was stabbed in Lost Dutchman State Park. And I don't mean to laugh, but it seems Lost Dutchman State Park is one of the most dangerous places to be in the Superstitions. So when you take your family there and you pay for your little campground and go in there, understand they're finding bodies and people are getting stabbed in the state park. There was also a bunch of gold underneath that park. They found possibly gold-bearing ore, and then they built over it and then shut it down. So mysterious governments under there digging or something, right? Terrell Sanders Jr. Fish Creek Hill accident. Not a lot of these are mentioned, and I kind of stay off the stuff by the lakes and stuff on definitely Apache Trail, but this was on Fish Creek Hill, and there's a couple other stories from the 60s and 70s, but I wanted to bring one in there is how dangerous that was. While it is out of commission now, no one's going up and down it. There were more than a few accidents, and anyone that was familiar with it would see the wreckage of a number of vehicles that were just left there. So, and I don't know if that was one of his. Tom Collenborn knew this stuff and could just literally spot by spot tell you where each car went off the road. Russell Mobley, 36 years old, died of gunshot wounds at Hewitt Station in 95. I don't know what that was. It doesn't say any, and that's what's odd sometimes, is they don't give you really any background information on these gentlemen. But however, we were lucky because in January 96, Fred Andrews found the Lost Dutchman Mine. I don't know if this is getting redundant, but for all of you that do have found it or consider you found it, and there's at least right now a dozen of you that are trying to convince me you have it and you found it and you have documentation and you've been on an online magazine or online this, you posted a forum and you sent me some pictures. Nobody's sent me any gold. I mean, a big gold brick would be nice. And you guys are thinking I'm making light of you. There's 12 of you. There's 12 of you. So just make that clear. It's not just one of you. There's 12 of you in 12 different places that have found this, okay? And you all believe you're right. There was an unidentified corpse in West Boulder Canyon found in 96. And how would you like to be that guy, huh? In West Boulder. So, yeah, he's kind of laid off Ruth thing going back in West Boulder, I'm sure. And then a gentleman by Ryan Gigag, I can't even say his Gigigu. I can't, and I hate to butcher the name of the gentleman, but he was found dead by Weaver's Needle. And that used to be something that, again, the recreational people, you find that stuff. A guy goes out, he's single, lives alone. Guess what happens? He dies. But you know what's more important on this? Nobody knows he's missing. There was an individual many years ago that passed away, and I think this was in New York City. And she had family and friends, and she had a job, but she had lost her job and was taking a little time away. I guess it was a little domestic abuse kind of thing going on. It was around Christmas. She was wrapping Christmas presents and died of unknown causes. And for 3 years, her body laid there in the room. and nobody ever went to check on her. She had just moved. They didn't quite have her address, didn't know what happened to her, kind of lost touch. The family thought, we figured she moved away, but we kind of, you lose track. It's just such a sad thing. She was making Christmas presents. It was natural causes, but some natural causes, but 3 years, and then finally something on the electric, which had been paid up. It was in a building where the lease had been set up in such a way that it took forever, and then they went in and found her that she passed away. This happens with hiking and recreational stuff. Is people go into the mountains, they disappear, they die, and then many months later, possibly a year later, someone will find the skeletal remains. Kind of finishing up and touching base here today a little too is the people that find the mine. And I know everybody's saying, well, they make light, and there's some guys are going to get angry and upset. But let's make the point. When we first did the TV show, first guy came to me and said, $20,000. I got it. It's down in Quartzsite. Now, he might go out there and start to parp it off. I still have your text, buddy. So don't make me play your text to the public. $20,000, he was going to take me out on a quad, just me and him, to show me Coronado's skeleton at the entrance of the Lost Dutchman Mine. And when I asked him why he needed my $20,000, because if he's there at the mine, couldn't he just take some gold out of it? Things kind of started to fall apart, and he said I was a bit of a a-hole. I'm sorry, you want $20,000 of my money to show me a skeleton so the two of us can just ride along? I'm sure there's some rule in there, too, that you're the one that's allowed to carry the gun, right? Yeah, sorry, whatever. I have been just barraged by people, probably a couple thousand people, and about 1,000 of them are stone map guys, and everybody has it. Guess what? Everybody's in a different spot. I wait for the day that one of you guys, 2 of you, 3 of you maybe, go to the same spot. Now, I know Bob Shue says the Bulldog, and Ron Feldman's kind of went the Silver Chief kind of route, and different people have their different thoughts and theories of where it could be. I know Mitch Waite felt it might be up on Horse Mesa. And, John Ramses, who wrote his book, said it was on Red Mountain. And, of course, we talked about Jay Frazier out in Carefree Cave Creek. But I want to make the point is everybody has their theory. If you bring the gold, whether you believe it or not, believe in what you want to believe. If it's a fairy tale to me, but it's really real to you, then let it be real. Don't let it overtake your life, though. Forever or whatever it is, don't let it rule your life, ruin your life, or change your life too much. I'm into the Superstition Mountains. I like those mountains. I like what I do. I like doing this. If you're entertained, and there appears to be thousands and thousands of people that enjoy this, that's all great and good. And we can be a little comical. We can have a little fun. But seriously, don't take yourself too seriously. I certainly don't, and I'm still here. And if you don't, you'll probably be much happier for it, and we can have a much more even conversation. And especially to all those guys, especially that dozen out there right now, you guys are perfect gentlemen when there's no audience. And the moment you want to leave comments or be public or go out there, you guys completely become a different person. And be a gentleman all the time and all the way. Have fun with it. Because if you really think you got it and you really think you have something, then be proud of that accomplishment. Write a book, do whatever, make your own little video about it, and go out there. I don't mind talking about it. I don't want to mention you guys by names because I think that is in a way trying to single you out to embarrass you. And like I said, there's about a dozen of you, so mix and match. And if there'd probably be 36 guys mad at me because 12 will imagine it that I'm talking about them too. But no, all the more power to everybody. Everybody should have their dream and for their adventure and for whatever they do. So not meaning to tick you guys off, but I ticked you off before I did it. So I figure you guys were ticked off at me anyways, but I'm always in a good mood, and hey, there's always a cup of coffee, a beer, or something sitting in camp, and every one of these guys knows me well enough to know you can walk in and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to still listen to them. I'm still going to hear them out, and I don't sit there and I don't delete them and I don't knock them off and I don't kick them out. You can unfriend me, but I'm not unfriending you over it. It's kind of silly and all. So believe what you want to believe in. That's all good and cool and great and everything. Just want to say thank you to everybody for watching, the lovers, the haters, and everybody in between. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. I'm Wayne Tuttle, and this was Chasing Legends.